guys, how y'all doing? My name is here. Welcome to my channel. So guys, today I'm gonna make another review from Uketsu's books called Strange Houses. Now, for those who don't know, I have made a review of one of Uketsu's work before, which is a book called Strange Pictures, and I tremendously love that book. Took me about a week to finish it, and I given like kind of like full details about what's happening in that book because I really like it, that I decided to find yet another one of his books, and I come across with this one called Strange Houses. And just a little bit of backstories. I acquired this book about 2 months after that video come out, which is like around, I think maybe April or something like that. And meaning I acquired that book on June, which is actually around the time that this book come out, but I only finished reading it on October last year. And I've been wanting to make a review for so long, but I just could not find the time, to the point that I was even like finished reading this one that just came out earlier, no, not earlier this year, but I think around February, March this year. I got this book on February by the way, but I learned that it only come out like internationally on March. So I mean, I guess it's kind of like depends on the region, where region you are at. But I acquired mine on February, finished reading it in 5 days because it was really very that intriguing to me. Like I was reminded of Strange Pictures again when I'm reading this one. Only the differences is that if Strange Pictures consists of like a stories that are interconnecting, like a lot of pictures that are interconnecting to each other, this one is stories about houses that could be related to one another. Even if it's like a different time, it could be related. And there's about like 11 buildings that are supposedly interlinked with one another, and that's what I got there from this book. And when I read it, I just cannot put it down. But I'll save this one for another day because it's obviously gonna be a long story, and I just don't have that time yet. So we're gonna do this one first, Strange Houses. So it's already March 2026. So what took me so long to review this book? Well, first thing first, I've been busy and also because there are certain part in this book that I just don't quite understand for the most part, because mainly this book are consisting like a lot of layouts being thrown out to you. And I'm first of all, I'm not an architect, so I don't really care for house plans and all of that. So when I'm looking at the diagrams of those house plan, I was just not into it, I guess. Not into it. However, there are some stories behind this book, so I'm gonna talk to you guys about that. Like, first of all, I just wanted to say it was still being published by the same publisher, which is Pushkin Vertigo. And this is, if you're wondering why there's like two different covers for the book, I learned that they have the American version and UK version, United Kingdom version, and this is the United Kingdom version. And the reason why I choose it is because it looks so nice on my shelf. Like really, when you stack them together, it looks so nice. Like it forms like a different color, like here. Like you guys can see here, it looks so much nicer. So I thought I like this cover better, which is why I choose it. But they have those, in greens and in red, but I'm not intrigued with those. I was like, I like this one better. So still being translated by the same translator. If I remember, his name was Jim Rayon. So thank you, Jim, for yet again another translation version of this. And of course, Strange Building, because I really enjoy that one. But this one, this is gonna be very hard to review because I don't know why, but there are some things in there, like some information there, that I just gloss over. I'm just gonna be straight to you. I just gloss over. But if I remember it correctly, I mean, the story about strange houses is basically a story about an author who his job is just writing macabre stories, you know, those crazy bizarre stories. And then one day he met his friends named Kurihara, and Kurihara is actually an architect, if I'm not mistaken. So he called Kurihara in hoping so that they can discuss about, you know, strange houses that they have all around Japan, like, you know, like asking one another, you know, what is the most bizarre you know, home layout you have ever seen in your life, and things like that, you know, just out of like mere curiosity and probably for his next book. So they were discussing this when a woman called them, named Yanaoka or something. Well, she was actually haunting a house so that she can live there with her family, and she stumbled upon this house that are so bizarre looking that he just have to ask his friend to take a look at it. So what do you know, we have the author friend who are searching for all of the, you know, the bizarre houses stories all entire Japan, and then we also have this Kurihara person who is the architect. So it's like match made in heaven, you know. So she asks around, and then that leads them to discuss about the house that she presented, like, you know, like, I'm buying a house, but the house is a bit bizarre, can't you take a look at it? So they take a look at it, you know, the floor plan and everything like that. As the author was talking to Kurihara, they come upon this like revelation, you know, like realization that, you know what, this house is kind of strange. Maybe it was used for something, like some sort of like purpose that we don't know yet. Like, you know, maybe there's some weird thing going on there, like perhaps sinister, for sinister reasons, like, you know, like, I mean, that's an angle to look at. Upon an investigation by Kurihara, they finally discovered that the house was connected to a family called Katabuchi family. This Katabuchi family was a family that has been around for many years, like maybe you know, dated back 100 years per se, and they are very prominent. I would say like they do like a very prominent family that does business. Before they even get to, you know, get down to the whole rabbit hole of this Katabuchi, you know, family, this mysterious Katabuchi family, their friend Yanaoka, who earlier called them, decided that, you know what, I'm not gonna buy the house after all. And then to which the author and Kurihara asked why not? Well, she said, you know, when I say that the house is weird, well, they found a body next to it. So yeah, not buying this house. And you know, the way that they discovered the body is it was basically dismembered, you know, a dismembered body. And when they put them back together, this body together, they realizes that this body is missing its left hand, which kind of leads me to the next like surprise about this book. And that is, we're gonna discover like a weird family ritual here, guys. Like, I'm not gonna joke around, like, you know, honestly, the moment, I guess, when I realized that Katabuchi family is really more than meets the eye, you know, they're not just like a prominent businessman, like whatever family, but they also hold like a lot like family secret, a lot of like juicy ones too. And you're not gonna hear any of this until you finally read chapter 4. And by the way, forget to mention this book only consists of 4 chapters. It wasn't until chapter 3, the ending of chapter 3 and the beginning of chapter 4, that I was like really taken into this story, because up till then I don't really care about the house plans, to be honest with you. I leave it to the architects to do whatever, but obviously the author and Kurihara are interested in it. So they did a little bit digging and find that Katabuchi family and whatever, and find the dark family secrets, and then they found this like one ritual. So remember the body that the police discovered? Those are related. I remember chapter 4 specifically because it was super shocking, and it's, I mean, I guess it's basically what saved this entire book. Because like I said, I'm not interested in the house plan. I'm just interested in the mystery and why is this house is bizarre and what is going on. What is this ritual? Tell me more. So the offering of the left hand ritual was actually a ritual that was formed after several events that happens in the Katabuchi family, like earlier on, like the first generation, let's say. So we have the head of the family. Can't remember his name now. And then let's just say, yeah, we have the head of the family, his wife, and he have 3 children. Okay, so the first one is the eldest, which is a boy, a man. He is supposed to be the guy that he is gonna interested on his best business for. Like, my son, you're gonna, inherit everything one day if I die. So have that one, and then he also have a second son, and this second son proved to be a far more better suitor than the first one, because the first one is a bit of a slow learner. Like, he likes things that are not, I guess, brainy per se. Like, for example, he likes to play make-believe, which to me, I was like, oh, so he's a bit of like that, huh? So I get it why he let the second son run it, because the second son is so energetic. He is super, like, I guess, business savvy, and can do the business. And then we also have the third children, which is a girl, and the third children, the girl plays well with the first one. They get along very well. So when the head of the family fall ill, he take a step back from the business. But without him, the family business is gonna suffer. So he have to put somebody in charge. So after upon thinking, and decided that, you know what, I'm gonna appoint my first son as the successor, despite him cannot do a single thing because of the optics. Obviously people are gonna be like, yeah, it makes sense, he is the eldest son, of course he's gonna be the one who lead the family to the prosperity and whatnot. However, the head of the family is a bit cunning. He was like, okay, I'm gonna let people think that he is the one who's the face of the family, whatever, but the one who's actually running the business is the second son, who is far more talented and far more big business savvy, just like he is. The only problem is he is the second son, and not only that he is the second son, he is also the son of the maid of the family. So it's like, this is an arrangement that seemingly worked for a while, until the second son thinks that, you know what, I am better than this family. Like, I can run the business without my family name. I can do it on my own. Like, to hell with this family, I'm gonna get out of here and just run the business with my own name, with my own mind, and see how well they do without me. Basically he said, screw them, bye-bye, I'm out of here. So he's out of the picture for a while. And of course, now that everything was given to the eldest son, who is clearly not interested, who is clearly not gifted, the family is slowly coming to ruin. Like the name that was once sparkly and whatnot just become tattered to the dist. Like, nobody cares about them anymore, basically. And that was not the hard part. The hard part comes later, and that is when, as a successor of the family, the eldest son was expected to continue the legacy, like to keep the lineage going, but unfortunately he was not interested in anybody. Like, he doesn't want to marry anybody, he doesn't seem to be particularly interested in anyone. And it was just kind of weird, because he's this like 24-year-old guy who's supposed to like someone by now. So what's the deal? Like, what's wrong with him? Aside from not being talented in business, what else is wrong with him? But we are not gonna learn what's wrong with him until he married somebody. And I remember he married a girl who's like destitute and have nowhere else to go, and they're married, but he is not interested in her still, which is like kind of like you know, mind's boggling. Like, why is he not doing anything? Like, why are they not lovey-dovey, not having babies? Like, what is going on? Like, what is wrong in this picture? So we later learned that the reason why the eldest son and his wife are that way is because every night, and this is the single word that just basically, wow, like I was this close of rating this book 2.8 or something, but I kind of like, you know what, no, 3.2 at least. So I rated it 3.2 as soon as I read this line, and that is the reason why he was not interested in anything or anyone or whatever is because every single night, like not interested in his wife, is because every night he will sleep into his little sister Chizuru rooms. And I was like, at that moment, I remember it still, I was like, what the hell? Like, out of like everything that could have happened with the strange ritual and whatever, incestuous relationship was not in my bingo card. Like, I have no idea that Uketsu is gonna take it there, but he did take it there, and that only the reasons that I feel like kind of like saving grace for this book. Like, I was like, oh my god, incestuous, please tell me more. So basically Chizuru and, you know, her elder brother was doing it every single night because they, I guess, love each other, because, you know, they do it every night, so they like each other, I guess. And this really kind of like breaks the wife's heart. Like, she was like devastated, like, why aren't my husband love me? Why does he forsake me this way? So the moment she found out, it was just truly heartbreaking for her, that she decided to commit suicide after that. Like, she killed herself in the most bizarre, twisted way. She was like trying to end her life by slashing her wrist or something, and then to the point that she kind of like take off her own freaking hand, like slamming on a wall or something. And it was like almost like she's trying to curse him and the sister or something like that. It almost looks like that, although to be fair, maybe she was just frustrated and trying to find a way to kill herself, you know, and maybe that's the one that, you know, that she could think of at the time, because, you know, many reasons people try to off themselves, and many ways to do that too. So that's the way that she chooses to do it. However, as soon as the child was born, it was twin, by the way, boys, both of them are boys. One of them name is Asa, I remember, and the other one is Momotaru or something, Momoru or something Momo. So Asa and Momo, I remember, because, you know, it's kind of funny name. And the moment that those kids are born, one of them ended up having no left hand at all. That kind of like makes the eldest son stunned, because he was like remembering, oh my god, my late wife died in that manner. Like, you know, she died without her left hand attached to her. Could this be a sign? Could this be an omen? And because, remember, he is a little bit slow, of course he would believe in such things. Like, he would believe in superstition and stuff, because back then they don't have this thing called genetics and DNA testing yet. Like, they don't know, like, if you're having an, you know, intermarriage or whatever, it could cause, you could have a defective baby, basically, right? So he had no idea that could happen. So the first thing in his mind, of course, superstitions, which I think what makes these books kind of like interesting, because, you know, it really leans on that weird rituals and superstitions and whatever. And I guess in a way it kind of answered the questions that I have at the beginning of the book, because when I first read it, I was like, when I was looking at the layout, right, I was thinking all the time, so usually a house is built based on people who are going to be living in there, and for all of this to make sense, it really begins with the Katabuchi family and their weird ritual after their children defect, which is the missing of the left hand. And it started when a woman, a mystical woman, a woman who claimed herself to be mystical, coming to Katabuchi family house and said something bizarre, such as, I sense it something here. I sense that you have angered I mean, there's an angry woman's spirits in here, resides in here. She says something like that. And of course, the eldest son, who's a bit slow, remember, and also slightly superstitious, was quick to notice that. He was like, how did she know? Like, what did she know? What is going on? You know? And so this mystical woman decided to give him like a bunch of, you know, orders in which they're gonna perform a ritual, basically to cleanse the whole aura or house so that tragedy wouldn't befall the household. And it's kind of funny because it was because of this woman that Kurihara and also the author that noticed that the entire family, the Katabuchi family, priorities kind of like shifted. Now they are this like bunch of family that are doing a bunch of like weird ritual to appease a god that is called you know, the offering of the left hands ritual. And they have to do it in a certain way, which I cannot remember now because it was super like complicated. But basically they have to kill a child from whatever family, from your own family, and then it have to follow a sequence or something. And it was super specific to the point that you must think that this woman knows too much. She must be the real deal. But Kurihara and the author thought nobody can know that much unless they have a sinister motives to do so. But the Katabuchi family, however, took it so seriously. Like they took the offering of the left hand ritual so seriously that it basically spans a couple like generations, which is why they are mothers somewhere out there with a kid missing their left hands. And it was super, I guess, tragic if you think about it. Like, you know, if people who are super hold on to their family tradition, no matter how bizarre and weird they are, to the point that they are willing to sacrifice a child and the left hand. I mean, I thought that was just tragic and sad. I guess what's really strike a chord to me is that they were lied to. The eldest son could not see past through the ruse of this mystical woman who just wanted money. Like, essentially she just wanted money. That's why she was creating all of these things. She doesn't care who she hurts, she just wants money. And the only, I think, way for it to break was just the current generations, and only after like so many sacrifices down the road as well. So that's kind of like sad all in all. Like, imagine if you have a wife that you betrayed, not only betrayed, but you let down. Instead of like having children, normally children with her, you decided you wanted to go with your sister. Like, not only that it's not normal, but that's also leads to many serious things in the future. That your whole entire family lineage was kind of like trapped in this like weird ritual that you cannot get away from. Kills a lot of people along the way. This book feels like a tragedy to me, and I don't sympathize with the eldest son at all. I feel like you reap what you sow. There's so many things he was not doing right. Like, he was not taking over the family business, which led him to be so dependent on the second son, which led the second son making it out on his own. And then of course the sleeping with your little sister, like, what is even that? I feel like after reading chapter 4, in which they reveal the family history, sometimes you have no idea like how a tradition can confine a person. If it's not break by, you know, the latest the newer generation, it can't goes on forever and ever and ever, because this is how your grandpapa used to do. You know, you cannot just defy our tradition. You have to adhere to it, or else something bad might happen to our family lineage and stuff like that. You know, unless somebody tries to break it, there's a chance that that thing will go on and on and on and on forever and ever. So I guess I like it, but would I reread this again, Strange Houses? Probably not. Maybe because I mean, it wasn't the history part that I hated. It was just the way it was created, I guess. Maybe it's the floor plans that are throwing me off. Like I was like, yeah, I'm so not interested in floor plans. I don't know why. But yeah, to sum it all up, this is a very confusing book at the beginning, but at the end it gives me some sort of like satisfying feelings to it. I wouldn't say it was the better version of Strange Pictures per se, because Strange Pictures was phenomenal. I love it. This one is acceptable read, and I give it a rating 3.2 out of 5. Will I reread again? Probably not, but I will go back to the 4 chapters because I just want to see the like what is going on, what am I missing, because you know, when it comes to ritual, it can be a little bit daunting and also very specific to the point that, wow, yeah, so that's why she wants to play that way. So that's why the mystical woman told them to do this and that and that. So yeah, that is so far my review of Strange Houses by Uketsu. I'm sorry if it's like not as exciting as you thought would be, but mainly because I find it very hard to just like everything that I read there, with the exception of chapter 4. And yeah, so that's pretty much my take on it. Kind of crazy when you think about how far people will go for money, right? That they even invented a fake rituals to get what they wanted. Kind of crazy. So anyway, now that we're done with that, next time when I make a video, I'll most probably will review this monstrosity. And I say monstrosity because it was super thick, and I finished it in 5 days because it was super good. So the next one is A Strange Building by Uketsu. I'm gonna make a review about this book. It's about 11 buildings and then one terrible secret. Now, I'll give you a little bit like hint. I actually could figure it out, because you know the way the books was this book was created is that you have to guess what could be it. You know, what could be it? You have to guess, because you know 11 buildings is almost impossible if you don't want to guess. And I think I got maybe 2 out of 11 right while reading it, because for the rest of it I was like, you know what, I'm too tired to figure it out. I just wanted to read this, you know, let's connect the dots by the end of it. And true to that, you know, there's a certain chapters at the very back that detailing each and every buildings that ever mentioned here, to make all the connection, right? So honestly, this one is not as hard to follow as this one, because as this one, you know, have so many layouts in it, this one only have like a stories, very compelling stories about strange buildings from all over Japan and how they were interconnected, interwoven together. And I cannot wait to make this review next, but first I have to edit this video, right? So there you have it. So with that being said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I see you soon on the next one. Bye bye. So what happened is that upon further investigation, they realized that this woman is actually one of the acquaintances, I guess you can call, of the second son who earlier have left the Katabuchi family. Remember how he wants to make it on his own? Yeah, he did make it on his own, and he have about 5 wives and I think about 6 children or something like that. So many heirs, you know, ready to take his place anytime. And of course the Katabuchi family inheritance. So because this second son is super vigorous and super out there, have made so many, like, you know, wives and whatever, so be a player, you know.